The Unseen Kingdom. The Promise of Prester John.
From lands unseen, I have watched the struggles between the faithful of Christ and the followers of the Crescent. Across mountains and deserts, from kingdoms distant and hidden, I have borne witness to the wars that rage between those who carry the cross and those who bow to Allah. Year upon year, these battles have swept across lands held sacred by both. Lands once graced by saints and prophets, where voices once spoke of mercy, devotion, and truth. I know the strength and resolve of Christians, carrying the cross as their shield, seeking to reclaim what they hold holy. And I know, too, the deep faith of Muslims, guided by the words of their prophet, defending what they believe is granted to them by the divine. Both march under the banner of faith, yet they meet as foes, each seeing the other as an obstacle upon their sacred path, each driven by a purpose that cannot yield. But I am neither distant nor stranger to this struggle. I have seen the price of these wars, not only in the clash of arms, but in the toll upon the spirit, the weariness that grows with each life lost and each prayer unanswered. Cities that once thrived with trade and laughter now echo with cries of battle. The hearts of those who pray for peace grow heavy as the years pass without end. And though I dwell far from these lands, I know the longing for a world where faith may endure without strife, where devotion may exist without division. Who am I to speak of these things? I have been known by many names, in many lands and tongues, but the one that echoes through history is Prester John. I am a keeper of peace, a watcher of what is sacred, dwelling in a kingdom veiled from the eyes of ordinary men. Though my realm lies hidden, I know the beauty within both faiths, and I have seen the power and devotion that burn in each. To me, the cross and the crescent are two lights drawn from the same divine source, each carrying its own truth. I am no conqueror, no crusader. I seek not to divide, but to remind. Let my words come to you as a whisper across distant lands, from one who has seen both sides of this struggle, yet remains untouched by the sword. You, who live within the fires of conflict, bear the weight of faith on a battlefield torn between two worlds. Know that there exists a place where Christian and Muslim alike may lay down their arms, where faith stands unshaken by war. For now, I offer you only a vision, a promise that peace is possible. Beyond the trials of this age, there lies a path for all who seek it, a way forward for those who would turn their gaze from strife and toward the light. It was in the year of the Divine Lord, 1095, that I first saw the fires of faith burn bright in Europe. Pope Urban II called upon the Christian kingdoms, urging knights and soldiers to march eastward to reclaim the Holy Land of Jerusalem from Muslim rule. Thousands answered, driven by the promise of salvation and forgiveness for their sins. A crusade, they called it, a holy war, a quest to defend their faith. And so, the people of Europe gathered not as nations divided, but as one force united under the cross. Across fields and rivers, over mountains and deserts, they marched, bound for lands they had never seen. They passed through Byzantium, through the plains of Syria, across the sands of Palestine. They saw cities foreign to them, faces of people they'd never known, and each step brought them closer to Jerusalem, the city sacred to Jew, Christian, and Muslim alike. It was no simple journey. These crusaders faced battles in foreign lands, harsh climates, and armies just as committed to defending their own beliefs. The Muslims, led by strong leaders such as Saladin, met them with equal conviction. For every gain, a loss followed. For every conquest, a counterattack. Jerusalem, that most holy city, changed hands more than once, claimed and reclaimed, as if no single faith could lay permanent hold to its sacred stones. The wars did not end there. More waves followed, each new generation heeding the same call, believing that salvation lay in taking back what was held holy. And as the battles wore on, both lands and people suffered. Cities crumbled, fields lay barren, and those who had once prayed in these places found themselves scattered and lost. The price of war weighed heavy. From my kingdom I watched, saddened by the sight of so much faith bound to so much bloodshed. Christians and Muslims, each holding their belief with fierce devotion, yet meeting as foes rather than brothers. And though they fought for faith, I wonder now how many lives were lost to a cause that could find another path. I do not condemn, nor do I judge. Yet I speak to you as one who has seen too much blood spilled upon sacred soil. Let my words be a reminder. Faith does not demand conquest. For each life given to these wars, I pray they find peace, a peace not yet found upon this earth. There is, however, a place, a land where miracles are woven into the very fabric of life, where the wonders of creation show themselves each day. Can you imagine it? In my kingdom, gardens bloom in colors that no eye has yet seen, stretching beyond sight, like carpets of heaven's own making. Towers of crystal and gold rise toward the clouds, their walls etched with ancient symbols of wisdom, glimmering beneath the sun's light. Here, even the air is rich, sweetened by blossoms that never fade, nourished by rivers that flow clear as glass, winding through fields that know only peace. In this land, creatures roam that you might call myth. Unicorns with horns like silver, phoenixes whose feathers burn bright as dawn. There are griffins that soar above, their wings wide, casting shadows over the valleys below. Each being here is a marvel, a gift of God's creation, living as freely as the rivers that wind through our valleys. And at dusk, as the sun dips low, the skies come alive with stars as near as lanterns, casting a light that dances upon the waters, bathing the land in a gentle glow. The heart of my kingdom lies in its sacred halls, where relics from ages past rest in reverence. The staff of Moses, the grail of our Lord, the ring of Solomon, each a treasure of faith, each guarded with care. These are not mere objects, but symbols of peace, reminders of the promise that binds us all. And within these halls, one can hear the whispers of saints and prophets, voices of those who came before, guiding us still. My people live without fear, without hunger or need. Their hands are free to create, to till the land and weave beauty into all they touch. There are no soldiers here, no need for blades, for it is the Spirit that guards us, a shield stronger than any sword. Faith binds us, a force as steady as the mountains, and as pure as the rivers that nourish our fields. Perhaps from where you stand, such a place sounds like a dream, but I assure you, this kingdom is as real as the earth beneath your feet, a realm where the wonders of heaven touch the lives of all who dwell here. It is a place beyond imagining, yet it waits, hidden, sacred and blessed, for those who seek it with a heart full of faith. In this land, miracles are as natural as breath, and peace is as certain as dawn. There came a moment when I knew my voice must reach beyond the borders of my kingdom. So I put pen to parchment and wrote a letter, a message meant for kings and for the Holy Father himself, urging them to look beyond the sword, beyond conquest, and to dream of a peace yet unseen. This letter, sealed with the mark of my realm, was carried eastward to Europe, across the lands and seas, and reached the courts of those who held power. Pope Alexander III was among the first to read my words. I hoped he, as the shepherd of the Christian faith, might understand that our battle should not be of swords alone. From Rome, my letter traveled further into the hands of the great Emperor Frederick Barbarossa, ruler of the Holy Roman Empire, and then to King Louis VII of France, a man who had himself marched to the east, who had seen firsthand the price of war. I knew the leaders of Europe were weary. I had watched them send armies and knights to foreign shores to fight a war that seemed to yield only loss. My letter spoke of a kingdom blessed by God, a place untouched by the wars that ravaged their lands. I told of relics we guarded here, relics known across time, such as the Holy Grail, the cup our Lord blessed at the Last Supper, and the staff of Moses, a symbol of guidance and strength. Some say I hold the Ark of the Covenant itself, the vessel of God's presence on earth. These are not treasures to be coveted. They are symbols of divine promise, reminders of what faith can accomplish in unity rather than division. And so, I wrote, with the intent not to lure kings with riches, but to call them to something greater. In my land, I said, faith endures without the clash of swords, and the people live without fear. I urge them to consider a peace that could last, a world where faith need not lead to war. Yet I knew that such words might be a challenge to those who read them. Frederick and Louis had marched to Jerusalem and seen the conflict with their own eyes. I knew they would wonder if my kingdom could be found, if they could reach a place so removed from the troubles of their time. As my letter spread, rumors began to swirl. Some believed my kingdom lay beyond India, past the mountains and rivers known only to traders and wanderers. Others thought it lay to the south, across the deserts of Nubia, or perhaps within the Christian realms of Ethiopia, where faith has held firm since ancient days. Each tale grew as it spread, yet the truth of my kingdom remains in its purpose, not in its map. I knew, as my words reached the courts of Christendom, that there would be those who sought me out, not with hearts open to peace, but with visions of power. So I left no guide, no clear path. For my kingdom is not a place one conquers or wins by force. Only those who seek with a heart for unity may ever glimpse its borders. And as I watched the waves of searchers setting forth, I wondered, would they seek my kingdom for what it represents, or merely for the power they might find within it? Word of my kingdom swept through Europe like a wind carrying the scent of distant lands. From one court to another, whispers of Prester John became something greater, a call to action, an invitation to seek what lay beyond the known world. Rumors ran wild. Speculation grew fevered. Could such a kingdom truly exist, untouched by war, blessed with relics and riches? Could it be that a Christian king ruled a realm where peace flourished, so far from the battlefields of Europe and the Orient? The letter spurred visions and stoked ambitions, and soon there were those who could not sit idly by. Pope Alexander spoke of my words with a reverence that inspired priests and monks alike to spread my message, while kings dreamed of alliances and noblemen felt the tug of adventure. Frederick Barbarossa and Louis of France knew well the struggles of holy war, and though neither laid down his sword, they began to wonder if a Christian kingdom thrived beyond the edges of their maps, might it be the key to a lasting strength for Christendom? But it was not only rulers who heard my call. Knights, lords, and wandering souls alike took up the idea as a quest, a journey into lands they could barely imagine. They began to gather rumors, to speak of my kingdom as if it were a place they might find on horseback or across the sea. Eastward, some said, beyond the lands of the Seljuks, past deserts that stretched to the horizon. Others swore it lay farther still, past the jungles of India or in the shadow of the Mongols, where few Westerners had ventured. The first expeditions set out with high hopes and grand visions, but they quickly found themselves in lands where the maps grew thin and the roads uncertain. They faced dangers that no tale of marvels could have prepared them for: blistering heat in the endless deserts, mountains that tore at the sky, rivers wild with currents that could swallow the strongest knight. Many would turn back, some would never return at all. Yet with each journey came new tales, stories passed from one mouth to the next until they grew larger than any truth. It was in these tales that my name became legend. Some claimed to have glimpsed cities of marble and crystal rising from distant plains, their towers glinting like gemstones in the morning sun. Others spoke of rivers rich with gold, flowing through valleys abundant with life, and of springs whose waters held the power to heal any wound. There were mountains said to hold veins of rare jewels, treasures concealed within their stone. Each traveler returned with a story more wondrous than the last. And with each tale, the mystery of my kingdom grew. Marco Polo himself, the Venetian who crossed the East long after the first letters, heard my name spoken in distant lands. Though he did not seek me, he found my legend woven into the fabric of the East, stories of a Christian king far beyond the reach of Europe. He, too, carried back tales of kingdoms rich with wonders and power, though he could only imagine if they were mine. In the centuries that followed, my story inspired many, including Prince Henry, the navigator of Portugal. In the 15th century, as Europe sought new routes and allies in a rapidly changing world, Henry saw in my legend the promise of a powerful Christian monarch who could aid in the struggle against rising empires and forge new paths for trade and expansion. My name stirred his imagination, fueling expeditions that would usher in the age of discovery. The search unfolded like rolls of parchment, each tale woven by those driven by different desires. Some pursued me for honor, others for faith, and still others for the allure of untouched lands. Yet I wonder, did any of them truly understand? My kingdom is not drawn upon any map, nor is it a prize for the taking. Those who arrived with swords in hand found only shadows, while those who came with open hearts might catch a glimpse of something far more profound. The quest for my kingdom grew into an epic, a tale that would outlast each expedition, each failed journey, and each hopeful heart. They called me Prester John, a name that echoed through their lands and lingered long after their travels ended. Yet the kingdom they sought remain just beyond their reach. With each passing generation, my name drifted to new lands and found new meanings. As explorers sought my kingdom in the east and found no trace, their gaze turned southward toward the ancient Christian lands of Ethiopia. They believed that perhaps my kingdom lay hidden in Africa, where faith had deep roots and kings reigned with strength. I watched as European rulers sent their envoys, hoping that the Christian kings of Ethiopia might hold the answers they sought. Ethiopia, noble and proud, carried its own legacy. Yet for a time, it bore my story as well, a kingdom seen through the eyes of those who wished to find what I had promised. As the search for my kingdom widened, it became more than a pursuit of lands unseen. It took root in the hearts of poets, artists, and dreamers. My name became not just a distant legend, but a symbol woven into tales of a realm where peace reigned unchallenged by war or greed. A place where wisdom and faith intertwined. My story offered solace to the weary and hope to those longing for a world that might transcend the divisions of their age. In time, my tale evolved beyond the quest for a hidden land and entered the realm of imagination and art. Writers and playwrights, Shakespeare among them, infused their works with the echoes of my legend. In Much Ado About Nothing, my name found its way into the jest and banter of characters, proof that my story had seeped into the consciousness of Europe, not as a distant monarch, but as an idea, a promise of unity and prosperity. Artists painted their visions of my kingdom onto parchment and canvas, creating illuminated manuscripts and intricate tapestries. They depicted my realm as one of impossible beauty. Rivers that glistened like liquid silver, cities that rose like radiant jewels under the sun. Through these works, my legend endured, passed from one generation to the next, an emblem of ideals that no map could contain and no border could hold. Perhaps this was always to be my true legacy, not a kingdom of stone and earth, but a vision meant to kindle hope. Through the written word and the stroke of a brush, I have traveled farther than any earthly king, enduring as a testament to peace. In each retelling, I invite those who listen to imagine a place where unity reigns and where the faithful, whatever their creed, may walk side by side. My kingdom was never meant to be bound to any map or held by one creed alone. It was a vision cast into a world fractured by faith and difference, a realm where Christians, Muslims, Jews, and all peoples might stride together as brothers and sisters. My words sought not to draw boundaries, but to dissolve them, revealing the shared spirit that binds us in our deepest truth. This realm, untouched by wars and unmarked by borders, endures in acts of compassion and the pursuit of understanding. It thrives within each soul that chooses peace over strife, connection over division. To those who hold this hope, know that you are part of this kingdom, a place that exists wherever hearts dare to dream of harmony. In a world where borders still carve paths of separation across maps and hearts, may my vision be your guide. Let it remind you that true strength lies not in conquest, but in unity and kindness. My legacy is not measured by relics or riches, but by the belief that we can see ourselves reflected in one another and walk together toward a peace we shape with our own hands. Maybe I will not remain hidden, and we discover that the path to peace lies not in the lands we conquer or the beliefs we hold, but in the courage to reach beyond what divides us and embrace what unites us all.